going here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, I started.
Yeah, we're going. We're good.
Okay. All right. So we're on
All right, here we go. Set it up. And
in
hey,
action.
hey. Good to see you, Empire. We are back. Blood Fist 2.
Yes. Yes. 1990.
Yeah, right up following from the success of Blood Fist 1. So
Yes.
I didn't know like much about these movies, like other than they were old school, like what we talked about in part 1. But
Yeah.
I did look up the budget. Like,
Oh
they didn't make a lot of money with these,
no.
but I don't think they were spending a lot of money either to make them.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, we said that Blood Fist 1 was like a more realistic blood sport,
Yeah.
and I really dig that. But this movie, Blood Fist 2, to me, is more like Enter the Dragon than it is Bloodsport. What do you think?
Oh, totally. Because I think you might be going in this direction where they're held against their will,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got to fight in a contest.
Yeah, tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the beginning, the Enter the Dragon, just for reference, they don't know that they're held against their will until they find out later on.
Yeah.
And then in this movie, Blood Fist 2, I mean, right away from the beginning, they wake up. Like, all those stars are awesome. Each person's an expert in their own field. Like we mentioned in the first video, like it's pre-MMA, but like each one of these dudes is a major attraction. Like they've got good skills. Like,
okay,
and
cool.
I think it says on the IMDb, like on a little trivia thing, it said it. Like I looked it up.
Yeah.
That when the snake, I'm gonna call him the snake, but
again,
he's the guy from part 2.
Yeah.
When he's interrogating them right at the beginning, he says all of their accolades in real life as he's like lining up in front of each one of them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's right off the bat, they're prisoners.
So that guy makes a reprisal, not the same character, like we had said, and this time he is kind of like Han from Enter the Dragon, but it's not Han's Island.
Yeah.
This is called like Paradise Island.
Paradise. It's called Paradise. Yeah.
And so he's now that kind of character where he's the main boss he rules the.
What's his name? Is his name like Sal or something? I forgot his name. Something with an S.
Gosh, I don't remember his name. Sal was the buddy. He was a good guy, but
okay.
Yeah, this.
But he's got the daughter, the Han guy, the leader. He's got like at the end we find out that she's the daughter.
Yes, that she is the daughter. Maurice Smith is kind of the Bolo guy, right?
Yeah.
Or
by the way, Bolo from part 1 comes out, like the real buff dude that
the Mohawk
plays,
guy, yeah.
Bolo lookalike in Blood Fist 1.
Yeah.
He comes out, except he's got hair. This time long hair, a different motif with his outfit, but he's definitely in there. I saw him. Like,
who did he fight?
He fights Don the Dragon in one of the matches.
Wow!
Yeah, they're because all those guys are all juiced up. So there's probably like 6 of them, or maybe 7 or 8 of them, and they sit in that little section, and then all the good guys that we like, they're stuck in the cage.
Yeah.
I'm fast forwarding a little bit. I know we mentioned some.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Maurice Smith is sort of the main villain guy, so he's the right-hand man.
Bolo and O'Hara put together, kind of.
Yes, Bolo and O'Hara put together.
And so Jake Ray, so Don the Dragon is Jake Ray once again, but it's a totally different backstory this time.
Yeah.
That he killed a guy in the ring, and that's why he quit.
Yes.
Not because he donated a kidney, but because he kills a guy in the ring.
Yeah, you just give up all hope. Like, this is sequel only in name, and I think they might even talk about it on the web if you look it up and investigate further. But
okay,
Roger Corman probably had some success. So he said, okay, let's just put the name Blood Fist. It might have been in another country released as another name too, but
okay, yeah.
so all bets are off. They're no longer direct sequels.
No.
It's just the star, the same actors,
yes,
same team.
And so but Donna Dragon Wilson is still Donna Dragon Wilson, and he's playing this really cool Jake Ray guy who ex kickboxing champ, but who has like this. I guess having killed the guy in a ring is crazy, right? That's his background. I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean, so in a way, he's kind of like this ultimate gladiator that never got the honors in a way, or he had the honors, but it was taken away from him because he throws the belt to the audience.
That's right. He throws it like right at the fight, But I have to say that it's well written, because at the beginning of the movie, when he's doing the fight with the guy, they give the guy something in his nose, and then the guy gets pumped up, his opponent.
Right.
That's foreshadowing toward the battle between Don and the other stars, which I don't know their names, but each one of those guys, they all have to battle somebody that's been given the super serum.
Right.
So that beginning moment where the guy takes that thing and the coach puts it in his nose, and then he gets amped up and he doesn't feel pain anymore. Don keeps wailing on him and nothing's working. So I see the writing there, and I can see how they worked hard at it. Might not have the biggest budget and lots of angles with the camera to say, okay, this is the moment, but I saw it and I made a connection, so I was a little bit happy there. Okay, there's something, they're building on something. And if you go back and watch it again, you can see that and say, oh wow, look, that guy's on some kind of steroid, he's not feeling pain. And then when you see it the second time, when these men are being injected, you're like, oh wow, look. Right. Because remember, Don's the first guy that says, hey, you can't fight fair with them anymore. It's you got to give them, they don't feel pain. When he tells
you
no
can't
retreat,
go
no
head
surrender.
On. Yeah.
He tells him like, hey, go hard, and he's the first guy that wins, because the Ranger is the guy that gets his arm broken and he survives. He doesn't get the.
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
But you were right. Like, you were totally right. Each one of these characters, they're memorable. I don't know their names, but I remember the Ranger. And then there's No Retreat, No Surrender. He's the first guy to win. Then there's the old-timer Greco guy. Yeah. That guy's battle was superb. I know I'm fast-forwarding, but
it's wild.
That was just one of probably my favorite.
Your favorite? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because you got to get like the big supervillain to jump off the thing. Maurice Smith jumps that 12-foot boom into the pit, and he's like, okay, come on. So you got to get number one right-hand man to take out old dude in the Greco uniform. So that shows you how the quality of his skill.
But let's go back to.
Let's try.
Yeah.
My fault.
So the Jake Ray character, what's awesome was, even though he was a guy that reached the pinnacle, the glory in the kickboxing world, the movie basically starts off with him sleeping with some prostitute. So, and his place looks like a mess. You could hear the stuff going on the outside. It doesn't look like a good neighborhood, or it doesn't sound like a good neighborhood. So that's what was cool, that he, even though he reached the pinnacle, here's a guy disappointed in life, disillusioned by life. You know what I mean? He's brought down. Yeah,
because he makes it to the top, but I got the impression that that's not the way he wanted to make it, by killing a guy.
No.
And so it totally derails him. He was on a super track to stardom, and it derailed him. And like you said, you described it really well. I don't, want to say it again. He's at ground zero. So
right.
In a way, is it like an emancipation? Is he liberating himself in physically and metaphorically? Metaphorically, because he ends up freeing everybody, but also he he takes those chains off of himself from killing the guy
Yeah.
because he's got to go up against his best friend.
Yeah, because you're right. He hits rock bottom,
Yeah,
and then at this rock bottom stage where
climbs back out.
Maurice Smith calls him saying, "Hey, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
Can you help me?" And he goes
Yep.
to help the guy.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could do that. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I've hit rock bottom, or maybe a few times in my life, and it gets, you know, it's hard. Life is, and I don't know
Yeah.
if I could just like. So this Jake Ray guy is an amazing heart and spirit.
Yeah, so it really, really positive. Like these
Yeah.
movies, they have, like I mentioned, in part one, they've got a start and a finish, and the stories are they've got a good rise and fall where you can follow it.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
and if you're into it, you know, and you might have to watch it 1 or 2 times or 3 times, and you can pick up on these waves of where the writer is just little by little putting a clue. And if you see it, then you can see it. If not, it's fine if you don't see it. But I kind of got the impression that of what you just said. Like he's oh shucks, I'm getting a phone call.
Oh, okay. So we could.
Hang on.
Sure.
Did it black out on you?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we're good. I
Okay.
hit the but we were right there, man. It threw me off. But
No
so
problem.
Jake Ray
Yeah.
hits rock bottom and then goes to help his friend,
Yeah.
and he's in Manila.
Again.
And what happens? How does he get knocked out?
Well, remember he meets the girl.
The girl, the daughter. We
She-
don't know if she's the daughter yet.
Yeah, and she lures him into the warehouse, and that's where they inject him.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah.
Yes, they inject him, but then he sort of escapes. And then there's the point where he jumps into the ocean.
Yeah, he escapes it right at that point. Like that's when the Sioux guy comes back, and he says like everybody like, okay, you're this champion, you're that champion, and he goes through everybody.
Okay.
And so at that moment, the guy from No Retreat, No Surrender, the brother, he goes,
Yes.
"You forgot one thing. I was like a undefeated or
from
yeah
85 to 87.
yeah at the Pussycat Club or something like that."
Yeah.
And that's when they do a small revolt, and that lets Jake, which is, you know, Don's character, gets out.
Jake
Yeah.
runs off, and they even shoot him, but they miss, and
Yeah.
he dives into the ocean.
Yeah.
And
So he gets
makes
away.
a good epic getaway. Let's see what happens after that.
But the music, right?
Yeah.
This time around, I felt like they did. So in Blood Fist 1, I felt like they did the whole like score,
Yeah,
but probably, you know, because the lower budget, they had to,
Yeah.
they couldn't do as good, but they do the whole thing, which is impressive. In
Yeah.
this one, they do like one memorable score, and they just repeat that a couple of times. And I think that's the smarter choice.
yeah, definitely. It definitely makes a lot more sense because you could just put little bits and pieces of the hero's theme
Yeah.
here and there, and like you just hear it in the background, and you're like, oh yes, so you know,
You instantly,
it's
yeah.
a good direction that they went this time.
Yeah.
I think also that they had some, like you said in the first video, they had maybe like a bigger budget this time, so they could afford a better composer and somebody that had a different, maybe not better, but just a different
Yeah.
vibe, and it worked perfectly for this one because I remember this music a little more. Like it did have
Me too.
what you said. Like it you can hear the theme in
Yeah.
the background, and
Yeah.
so it's good.
And
Definitely.
then so once, you know, we get the idea of what Sue is trying to do here, that he makes a super serum for his fighters.
Yes.
And in this underground, it's not a tournament, but in this underground event, if he gets these world famous fighters and they get destroyed by his no-name guys that are using the serum,
Yeah.
and he has all these like international buyers lined up at
Yep.
this
Yep.
like high what do you call it, party with like all these like high society party,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's got world leader people there. It's total, uh, like from another movie that art, the Lord of War. He's dealing with people that they sell weapons, they international arms
Mm-hmm.
dealers
Mm-hmm.
and drugs and trafficking. So I think in his speech he tells them that you won't have to sell drugs anymore. You won't have to sell this. All you got to do is just get athletes, and
Right.
athletes are predictable, and athletes are this and that. And he says it, and he's got that super serum, and he
Yeah.
opens the briefcase, and it's all like laid out, like. And these people are totally just captivated by him. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he's a good salesman. Sue, that was his name.
Yeah, he has a good voice. The guy, I
Yeah,
can see. You know, this role I think was a good role for him
yeah.
too. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
totally from part one, which it's unrelated, but he just happened to be the guy, who played the snake in part one.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
like I like this because they had a chemist, so they had the guy in there and his chem lab and the doctor. And the doctor was kind of weird, but you know, he was still like he was still a chemist and he was making his stuff. Uh, so I liked it that they talked about how the steroid was undetectable. It took 4 hours to assimilate into your muscles and no metabolites. You just like you became strong. And then he described what you would feel: no pain and
right.
incredible strength. These kind of things. So it's a lot like what the Olympians were doing. They were what this happened in 1990. This movie.
Yeah.
So remember, there was that 1988 where Carl Lewis, the runner, went up against
Ben
that guy
Johnson.
from Canada.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I mean,
So,
undetectable, untraceable is what he said. That's his marketing speech. And then so
yeah,
the tournament was there to prove that.
yeah.
And then so now we got to go to the fighters, which is the really cool part.
Dude, this is the jewel of the movie.
This is the best part of the movie. So
Yes.
Don actually splits his screen time with these other fighters,
Yeah.
right? That's kind of a really cool thing. And
Real humble, man.
some of them die, but a lot of them make it too, right? So yeah.
But even the ones that die, they showcase some
A
good
lot.
fighting
Yeah.
for movie fighting entertainment.
Yeah,
it's
they
great.
do. They do. So
Pretty classy.
the first match was who went up first? The boxer, right? James Warren.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the boxer.
They called him John Jones in the movie. That's the name of the character, which is crazy because that's the goat of MMA today, John
That's
Jones.
what I was waiting for that. Yeah.
But James Warren actually, this dude, he fought in like a early MMA event with Renzo
Wow.
Gracie, where back when Hoist Gracie was kind of dominant, everyone was talking about Hoist Gracie versus Ken Shamrock. Well, they made an event called I think it was called the World Combat Championships. So
Wow.
in it, they were doing Renzo Gracie versus Bart Vale, and Bart Vale was the guy that they said allegedly beat Ken Shamrock. So they were trying to top the UFC, and of course Bart Vale didn't even make it to. Renzo wins the whole thing, and the
Wow.
finalist for that is James Warren, the boxer guy that we see in this.
Wow.
So it's Renzo Gracie versus James Warren in the finals of this MMA match, it was a crazy tournament. You could see it on YouTube, but
That's really interesting. I'm gonna go look for it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything, but boxing's a real science, and so if you study boxing and you're good at it, and you like we talked about how older generation fighters, if they had MMA, they would have just made a natural progression. Maybe this is one of them, like this guy. So I'm gonna go check it out. Sounds like a nice match.
Yeah, yeah. So in the movie, he just came out as a very, very one-dimensional boxer.
Yeah.
But
he sort of adapts like a little bit, like
okay, yeah.
Toward the end of the fight, he sort of adapts to the guy, but it's just it's a little too little, too late.
Too little, too late. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in
and uh, John hadn't woken up yet.
no, he's unconscious for a while. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's unconscious for like the first two matches. This one and then the Ranger.
And so the next one, is that the Ranger?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So the Ranger, I've tried to look up the guy. His name is Rick Hill, the actor. I don't know
Okay.
anything about the guy. There's a When I look up the name Rick Hill, actor,
Uh
the
huh.
other guy that comes out is Death Stalker, another Roger Corman movie, I think. And
Oh wow,
but
yeah.
I don't think it's Death. I don't think it's the same guy.
Okay, I'll
Cause
look. I'll try to look it up too.
yeah,
Um, but what did you think of his match? Like he kind of
he
puts up a pretty good fight.
well, he comes out with this like strange stance, so it's memorable. His look, and then he kind of
Yeah,
does the Jesse Ventura and Predator, where he spits the tobacco and stuff.
yeah,
So the character is memorable. Fighting style,
yeah.
maybe not the greatest, but at least maybe out of all of them, perhaps the weakest looking to me. But
I thought that the fight wasn't good, but
okay,
the what you just said,
character,
his character
yeah,
was incredible.
top
I
notch,
I
yeah,
would have I would have liked to have seen a little bit of 2023's version of hand-to-hand combat from an Army Ranger,
okay,
which I don't think it's that different from 1990. But he was a hand-to-hand combat instructor in the Army
yeah,
as a Ranger. That's who the character is loosely based off of. I
right,
think that's when Sue is saying the
yes.
introductions. That's what he says. So when I saw his movements, I thought, oh no, this is just not choreographed well.
Oh,
But he's going up against these guys that are juiced up, so
okay, okay.
maybe none of the strikes are working.
It was interesting because his style looked unique, right? Very different from the rest. So that was
Yeah,
kind of, at least that was there. What's the third one?
the Taekwondo guy.
Is it, or is it the judo guy?
It's the judo guy, but the judo guy comes out with these kicks like he's Taekwondo
Right, his
man.
kicks are
So this is
amazing.
another one where he's a judo guy, but he starts. Yeah,
So
like all these fighters were good. By
that,
the way,
that
even the Ranger was good.
so that guy, the judo guy, like you said, he had some pretty good kicks.
Yeah.
And then there's a point where he grabs a pipe,
Yep.
and you could
Yep.
tell he has some Eskrima background,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So you're
Yeah.
going, wait a minute, this is a judo guy, but
And his eyes open up because he like smacks the guy on the head, like boom, boom,
and nothing.
and he nothing. Like it's like he's fighting the Terminator.
Right, right. But so that guy got to showcase like a lot of his skill. What would you think his real style is? The actor.
I don't know, like some Hapkido or something. Like
That's
who
a good
knows?
guess. I thought maybe like some Filipino martial arts with some hapkido. That's what I thought. Yeah. So
Yeah, there you go. So
we're on
he
the
was probably
same.
on the wavelength.
Yeah.
He was definitely athletic. He had a good form. He was agile and believable. So I liked it. Let's see. Did he win his battle against the guy? And he's the first one that speared.
So wait a minute. Even though he won, he got no. He started running away. He started running away because he was like, I can't hurt this guy. So he's like,
Okay, no,
and
he
then
doesn't win.
yeah. So they just threw the spear at him, saying, he's fighting cowardly.
Yeah. Okay,
But
so who have we got? We've got the first guy,
boxer,
boxer. He's out. He's dead.
yes,
The Ranger, they mess up his arm, but the audience
yeah,
says he puts up a good fight, which we both agree he does put up a good fight. I would have liked to have seen a little different,
right,
but I still liked it.
right.
And then we've got this next guy that was a judo champ, and he goes down.
Yeah, the judo champ, who, in our opinion, was more like a martial arts guy.
Yeah.
You know, like a more
Yeah.
like a traditional multiple martial arts guy rather than a judo guy. But
Yep.
he didn't even get the thumbs down, which we didn't explain. In this, it was like a Coliseum format that
Yeah, for
Sue
rich people. Like,
Sue goes up, and then after the match, he does a thumbs up or thumbs down, gladiator style,
yeah.
choosing whether and letting the audience choose whether the contestant gets to live or not, which is
Yeah, and he had sort of like the boxes there where he had not really the boxes, but in
the raised seats.
the rafters, he had some of his really high clients, his high enders, and he would look them right in the eye, like, all right, you see, like, it's working, the serum's working, and they're like giving him the nod, drinking their champagne, and it was an event.
So, but
a lot like
I was gonna say
modern movie. There's a modern movie that came out, Man of Tai Chi with Keanu, where they have similar vibe like that.
I was gonna say Best of the Best 2. Have you seen that one?
Best of the Best 2. Perfect.
They do the same gladiator thing where they choose to whether a person gets to live or not. So anyway, so then we get to the judo guy. He doesn't even get the thumbs up or down. They just throw the spear at him.
Yeah, cowardly. Like, you're running, boom, you're dead.
So who's number 4? Taekwondo?
Number 4. No. Never, No Retreat, No Surrender.
Oh, the big brother from No Retreat, No Surrender. Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you think of his style?
Dude, like, it was old school. He did look like a Shoto, what is it, Shotokan karate?
Shotokan, yeah. Like the deep stance with the really thrusting front kick.
Even when he had the guy down and he was like gonna do a ground and pound, he gets back up with like a like a reverse punch, and you're like, whoa, he just did like a
my first fight was against the guy that kind of fought like that.
Yeah, real traditional style.
And he was like a tournament karate guy, except he was really, really tall. But yeah, it was kind of like, so he had like devastating side kicks and back kicks, and he would send people to the hospital and stuff. But I got into a fight, with this dude. So he kind of reminds me of that, except this guy, Sal, very likable. This one, the guy that I fought was a jerk. But what's up?
Yeah, Sal was a great guy. You want to be his friend, like,
very likable.
You want to cheer for him.
Yeah. So he's the one that just straight up wins, right?
Yes, and I think that Don wakes up in like 25% into Sal's match.
Okay.
So it's just barely started, and he wakes up. He's like, "What's going on?" Okay, well, these guys are down, and Sal's on the mat. So he gets up. Hey, Sal, they're drugged up. You gotta give them all you've got. And that's when the tables start turning, and I think the music starts changing a little bit in the background. You hear the hero's theme.
Yeah.
And we know in the audience, like, hey, No Retreat, No Surrender is not gonna back down. Like, he's gonna win. Like, we got too much invested in this guy.
Yeah.
Like, they're not gonna break our heart. Not anymore.
Well,
and sure enough, the tables do turn. He ends up making it, although I think he gets partially injured, maybe.
Yeah.
A little bit. Does he?
Yeah, I thought he did his arm, right?
Yeah, something,
No, I don't remember, but...
No, I think he makes it okay.
He's fine. Right. He's fine. Okay, so Sal's fine, and he's the first victory, like you said.
Yes.
And then it's the Taekwondo guy?
Yes, I think. Yes, it is. Taekwondo guy.
Has to be.
Because the Greco guy is the last guy because Maurice Smith jumps down.
Right. Yeah. So the Taekwondo guy, what'd you think of this guy?
Yeah, Taekwondo for sure, like all the way, because he was like doing kicks like the whole way. Like,
to me, his footwork was amazing. I was like, this makes me want to do Taekwondo. I want to see this guy like do his own movie, is what I thought, where he's the main character. That's what I thought. He blew me away. Yeah. So he was really impressive for me. I liked his style a lot. It was real fast and
really explosive, real fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just high flying kicks, like what you would expect from a Taekwondo champ.
Like a lighter guy, very
Yeah,
quick and nimble.
yeah,
He did a
yeah.
great job. And then the wrestler
But he gets
guy.
killed. Don't they shoot him?
No, no, no. He's fine. He makes it all the way. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He's one of the guys that lives. So yeah, he's good. So then I think like this is like the part where like people that were there that were supposed to buy the serum, they're like
Yeah, the
leaving.
clients.
Yeah, they're
They're
like
pissed.
forget this, and they just leave. And yeah,
Yeah, there's a couple walkouts.
yeah. So Sue's getting real upset, and then now we have the wrestler. And you
Yeah.
said the wrestler, the Greco-Roman guy, blew you away, dude. The guy starts with the match sitting down.
Yeah,
Who does
yeah,
that? Like, I mean, like totally sitting down, like not, you
yeah.
know.
Like sitting down, just cross-legged style, just relaxed. Oh, you know what it reminded me of? Toki in the Cassandra prison. Like, so he's just sitting there, and those two dudes
Right,
they're right next to him with the beard, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna get you," and he just, you know,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, no, that is he was on another level, right?
yeah,
To do
yeah,
that.
totally.
Yeah, it's
He was toying with those guys. He could have done a lot more,
mm.
but he was just showcasing those moves. I want to say that the choreography was top notch, really exceptional. It had me on the edge of my seat. I wanted to see more.
Super unique because he fought sitting. Maybe not the most realistic, but it gave me the feel that he was kind of like almost like a Jean LaBelle.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
part where he like grabs the guy's hand and just starts biting on it, just real
yes.
nasty. That made me think of like the old school catch wrestler kind of.
There is a Blood Fist where Jean LaBelle stars in the.
No, no. Wasn't he like some dude? He just comes out of the house wearing a robe, and then he just has an amazing fight scene with Dawn on the front lawn. And then Dawn just like finally beats him, and he's like, "Who the hell was that?" And he leaves. And then Gene LaBelle just like doesn't he just like wake up and his wife is like, "Get back in the house," or some
Yeah,
crazy scene like
I
that,
think
right?
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is Gene LaBelle. Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
that's him.
Yeah, but yeah. So this guy to me reminded me totally of like a Gene LaBelle, not the same
Yeah,
physique, but
he even does the bite.
yeah, the biting. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So.
yeah.
Uh,
No, I loved it. That was one of my favorite fight scenes of the whole movie
the whole,
because it it incorporated a lot of the just good old fashioned practical effects.
mm,
The man sitting down, like the when he would move and the guy's coming for him, so he just move out of the way. Like
mm,
it all made sense,
mm,
and then it left you with that feeling that you could do it. You could learn how to fight like that.
and yeah, clearly he did seem a little bit older, like you said.
Yeah,
It just seemed
yeah,
like his skill, the character skill, he's just like on another level. Like
yeah,
he was
yeah,
probably like one of the best fighters there.
yeah.
Character wise,
And I
right?
think if he had had a different attitude, like, hey, these guys can kill me. They're on this steroid. If he had known a little bit more about that, or if the writers had allowed for his character to develop like that in the 3 minutes of the match, then we would have seen more from this fighter because I thought that guy had like Batman level skill.
Well,
Like the Batman that I'm thinking of is that 50-year-old Batman, like the
oh,
older
right,
Batman.
right.
You know?
No,
Yeah,
he annihilates his opponents,
yeah,
and like you
yeah.
said, that's when they're like, oh, forget. And Maurice Smith comes down because
Yeah, he just jumps down.
yeah, because
Boom.
this guy embarrassed their fighter bad. No one
And
else did that to that extent.
Maurice Smith jumps down and assaults him,
Yeah.
and the guy's thrown off guard. But if you look at that fight, he does defend himself against the onslaught, the brutal onslaught. He does get in some good defense. So he was caught off guard, and it probably injured in that. So
Right.
when he gets back, he's not 100%. But there's a moment where he does parry some of Maurice Smith's strikes, and I think he fights back, but
Don't they
unfortunately,
stab him?
yeah,
Yeah, he gets
yeah,
killed with the spear, right?
yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then so
yeah,
that's when Dawn comes in to fight
yeah.
Maurice Smith.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
then
game on.
right, and that's the you know
The final match.
yeah the final match, which is a little bit too bad because Maurice Smith's character there wasn't that much development, and as you and I know, Maurice Smith is he's a former UFC champion. Before that, he was like an North American kickboxer with probably I
Yep,
think one of the longest reign as champion. He was like 7 year champion or something like that.
yep, yep.
So yeah, amazing dude. Super athlete, super legend coming in. You kind of wanted a little bit more background, but
Especially because he's Vinny at the beginning of the movie. Like, so
yeah,
you wanna know what's going on, what happened between these guys, what's their friendship based on, and like you're flying across the world to go help your buddy.
yeah,
Like, how do you not know your buddy's a drug trafficker?
right,
What's going on here?
yeah,
And so there's something there. It would have been nice, but we don't get
no,
enough. There's trade offs, and this was great action, great fight scenes, great tournament setup, underground betting, everything that you can dream of. It's there, but yeah, this is one of the deficiencies. That and then the daughter. You find out at the end that she's the daughter. I wanted to know more about her.
Did you like her, the character?
Yeah, like she was kind of cool. Like at the beginning, I was like not trusting her, and then I started trusting her,
Yeah,
and then I wasn't like my trust was broken, so it worked. Like the enchantment of the movie worked.
Right.
It worked on me because I didn't trust her at the beginning.
Well, that's the writing. They put a lot into her character. It was almost like they're trying to promote the actress big time,
Uh huh. Okay.
But as far as I still like the girl from the first movie the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that looks like the double impact.
Yeah. I kind of wish that she was in this one instead. Yeah, but
but it might not have worked that she was Sue's daughter. This one looks
she can't do Sue's daughter for sure,
Yeah.
and maybe she would have been too much of like a femme fatale James Bond girl.
Yeah,
where it's like you could
true.
tell like you can't trust her. Come on, yeah. So,
but this one sort of had the appeal. Like you could trust her. She leads him into the warehouse. That's where he gets knocked out. All this but Sue even says, like, hey, why'd you give him those kind words at the restaurant? Or why'd you warn him? And then why'd you give water to our guys? Like, they're just gladiators, you're not supposed to give them water. So there's a little bit of crumbs that they're giving you in the writing that this girl, there's more to her. But I didn't know what it was, and I was blown away.
And then from there, Maurice Smith's character it goes sadistic, whips her like really bad. So
that's bad.
Yeah, they're also trying to show that he's bad, but I wish there was a little bit more for both of them.
It would have been nice, man.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to know, like, what's the relationship between Vinny, Maurice Smith, and Sue?
Mm-hmm.
What's their relationship? Because he like abandoned his friend. I think there was a deeper connection between Don's character and Maurice's character, but we don't get that. And then the drugs, the allure of the money and the power and Paradise Island is too powerful, too much.
Yeah.
The magnetic pull. So Maurice Smith gets hijacked by this guy, by Sue.
Yeah.
Mentally hijacked, like in, how will we say, in Ghost in the Machine or Ghost in the Shell, like where they get mind hacked.
Yeah, so he totally finds his groove or whatever there.
Yeah, he's in, and so he's whipping the dude's daughter, and the dude's like looking at him like Ming the Merciless.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Yeah, like in Flash Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild, but yeah.
So then that's the end of the pit, and how do they get out of there? And they're fighting on the outside. I know there's an outside.
Yeah, so it's just like Enter the Dragon, where now like after Don defeats Maurice, right?
Yes.
All hell breaks loose. All the guys come out from the cage. Don gets them out. They all come out, and they just everyone
Oh,
starts
somebody
fighting.
picks the lock.
What?
Sal, I think.
Okay, Sal picks all.
Yeah,
So
picks the
then
lock, and then right at the perfect moment too, because it like the tides turn.
so they get out, and then it's all havoc, and it's like the end of Enter the Dragon, where everybody's fighting everybody, and
Okay.
yeah, and then that's how it ends, where Don has that final fight against Sue, and I
Yes.
kind of wish that like in Bloodsport, not sorry, Blood Fist 1, if you remember, Sue like he grabs almost like a broken off trident thing, and he attacks
Mm-hmm.
Don with it. That reminded me of the claw that
Yes.
Han had. Yeah.
Han's hand.
Yeah, so it kind of maybe they were kind of foreshadowing that he's gonna become like a Han type character. Who
It
knows?
could
Maybe
be. It could be.
indirectly, coincidence, whatever. But
Oh, you could be onto something. Maybe they had the idea of a part two, but they didn't know how to write it, and sometimes things just fall apart.
mm,
So they just went in this direction. But that's a good call with the foreshadowing, because
hmm
he does play a Han look-alike in this one, minus the hand.
yeah, minus the hand. I wish he had, because I mean, when he's going up against Don, you know he can't take him hand to hand. You know that. So
Yeah.
he does grab a sword, but I kind of wish that he had
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Did you notice anything about that sword?
What about that sword, man?
Well, I mean, it's a model sword for a movie. What we know that.
Yeah.
But when he was hitting things with the sword, none of the stuff that he was hitting,
Yeah.
like swords, as we know, swords, they're razor sharp.
Right.
So when he was hitting the furniture, none of the furniture was chafing. There was no flakes of the wood on the furniture coming off. So I was a little bit let down because I love swords. So I'm a sword fanatic, and
Right. Yeah.
so I saw it, and I said, "Oh my goodness!" I saw it in another movie too, where a guy puts a sword on his shoulder,
Yeah.
and I thought to myself, like, you just put a razor blade like on your shoulder, like,
yeah.
and like you've got like he didn't just like put it on there, like he was like, yeah, like, and you're like, are you kidding me? You just like collarboned your to death.
Oh man.
So bad movie handling, the movie props.
Yeah.
It's a great fight scene. They're in a kitchen or they're in somewhere and they're fighting.
Right. The chem lab. The chem lab. Yeah.
Chem lab. That's right. They're cooking in the chem lab.
Right. And all the parts where like the guards, they're all dressed in like the Arnie's uniform, and they all have the screamer sticks and stuff. You know, it was kind of cool to see that for me. You know, to see, because it's in the Philippines. Kind of wish that we got to see a little bit, you know, of that kind of action, you know, or maybe just why didn't they have a full blown Filipino martial arts dude in there?
And that would have been nice.
Is it because of the weapons? Because this is supposed to be a empty handed tournament. Yeah.
But and they're marketing it to us in America.
Yeah.
I think so. That's what it was. I think it's 1990, so we got to fast forward a few years before Eskrima or Arnis or anything stick related becomes popular in America. We're looking at later, even remember The Perfect Weapon. He gets the sticks and he like does them in that movie.
Yeah,
and that's kind of one of the first mainstream movies where you see sticks like that.
Right.
But we'd already seen him in Out for Justice, where Danny Nosanto fights Seagal in that pool hall.
Right.
But I don't know, like a standalone movie where there's a guy with sticks. Maybe a little bit of American Ninja, but that's still more of the sword motif.
No.
Even though the training he does looks a lot like Filipino style, but you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. Far away from Blood Fist. But it's interesting, man, like, because it's all in the Philippines.
So now that you saw Blood Fist 2 again, what's your opinion compared to 1, Blood Fist 1?
Yeah, definitely I like it. It's got a good vibe. They could have done some, if they had maybe combined both of these movies together and made like a single movie,
Oh man.
it might have done really well.
Yeah.
Because it would have had the elements of all the those movies that we talk about, like baked into it.
Yeah.
The Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Enter the Dragon. It would have had them all.
Yeah. No. So for me, this is one of my favorite Donald Dragon Wilson movies.
Yeah.
You know, I really like the characters of the fighters. Like I say, it's like a video game for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But that being said, like you said, in Blood Fist 1, I mean the caliber of, you know, them having Billy Blanks and also Rob Kaiman. I mean,
Yep.
gosh, that was, I wish they were in this one.
Yeah. But they do have Sal from No Retreat, No Surrender, so that's cool.
That is cool. They have Maurice Smith. That is also
Maurice
cool.
Smith.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And the other guys too. They were amazing.
Each one of those guys was top notch.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to see them combine it in one. That's my take. Like, I'd like to, you know, if you could do go back in time and make the movie your way, probably one Blood Fist and just those two combined.
Oh man, that's wild.
But I mean, there's eight of them.
Yeah, so
I got up to number 7, and I kind of like slowed down. Like, you know, it gets. But
what's your favorite so far? Number 1, and what's your first and second favorites?
Definitely number 1.
Okay, and, you still number 1's your favorite.
And part 2
is up there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's first and second. So
okay.
That's my first and second. But I like I like the music in part 4 and 5. I love the music. That's the one from Code of Silence.
Yes.
And it even carries over to 6. You can still hear a little bit of those melodies.
Wow.
Music is great.
Yeah.
The writing is really great. They're like standalone, long, made-for-TV episodes. But it's good storytelling. I think it's amazing storytelling.
Okay.
I like the prison one, though. It's good. I gotta admit that prison movie. So that'll be my number 3.
Yeah, for me, I gotta go with 2's my favorite, and then 3, and then maybe 1.
Yeah. Okay. That
so I go in that order. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're both of us top 3 is the same movies. Yeah.
In the top 3.
Yeah.
But the music for me, music wise, it's number 4 and number 5 and then number 6. Those Blood Fists incorporate that beautiful theme that I like from Code of Silence, where I go back to that awesome. Like, you can hear like the drums and then like the melody, like da-da-da, like it's great.
Nice. I gotta check that out, and I'll be paying attention to the music. Yeah.
I think part 2 has the second best music because whatever instruments they're using. Like, I wanted to look it up. I didn't have enough time, but we can look it up in the follow up or in the future. It's one of those. I think it's called a Fairchild or something. Okay. It's a music computer that they had from the 1980s.
Okay.
Where the musician could buy a computer. It was really expensive, like $20,000 or $30,000, and you would get a computer monitor, a keyboard, and then like a piano keyboard, like a keyboard to type, and then a piano keyboard to input your stuff.
Wow.
And it wasn't. You weren't like playing a musical instrument. You were accessing a computer using these tools. We now know this like as in the music world of today, but this was back in the 80s.
Wow.
And the reason I bring it up is because the sounds from Blood Fist 2 are almost identical to those sounds that you get from one of those music computer devices.
Nice.
Because they would get real musicians and sample those musicians in a sound studio. And so you'd hear a real saxophone or you'd hear a real flute. And so when you hear those instruments in the background, it might be one of these sophisticated ones. That's why it sounds so cool in the music of part 2.
And I think maybe that's why it's so short, because the budget.
Yeah. Could be. Could be. I don't know. It could be just another expensive synthesizer, but I want to say it sounds like one of those
Very cool.
iconic synthesizers from the '80s. It was just so expensive because they got real sounds that were played from real instruments,
right,
and then processed those sounds through a computer chip, whether it was on a synthesizer keyboard or that really expensive computer equipment that I was telling you about. But this was we can look it up later in the.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
available. The info. It's out there. But I just didn't prep for that because I was thinking more about the fights and stuff.
Well, no, it's all good, man. So another awesome Dawn the Dragon movie flick.
Dude,
I think that's a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Totally, wmpyr. Thanks a lot, man.
No, thank
you.
See
you on the next one. And thanks, everyone, for watching.
All right. wmpyr, over and out.
Later on.